Mr. Tom, welcome back. Thanks for taking time for us, sir.
Well, I'm glad to be back here in the steamy South.
You're back home, so you're back here in Louisiana right now.
I am sitting down here in Gonzales at the moment, yeah.
I had been looking at your Facebook page, reading a couple of other things the last few days, which was why I wanted you to join us this morning. I said to somebody last night, it's about 90 days, I guess, on the money till the election. And as I call it, the sheep show is just starting if anybody thinks things are going to wind down. And part of that, these collective attacks on America by the political left, by the Democrats, that will include a lot of attacks on the Second Amendment and gun owners and gun rights, as evidenced by, let's start with, the Democrat National Committee.
Well, of course, we see all you have to do is go to Joe Biden's campaign website, and you look at his plan for guns and gun owners, and it is clearly written by the gun ban lobby. It includes everything from outlawing the most popular guns in America to limiting how many guns you can have to making it illegal if you don't store your gun the way they want you to store it. And it just goes on and on. It's everything. And, I mean, it is total. It's like, okay, we're going to just do everything we want, and Joe Biden is doing it. And then have you noticed that all of the women who are being vetted for VP, they all have to go do an appearance with the Everytown for Gun Safety. So they have to be vetted and approved by the gun ban lobby before they can go on and possibly be picked as a VP candidate.
Mr. Tom, when you talk about, and the Democrats talk about, and Joe Biden talks about, criminalizing private firearm transfers, explain to folks what that means and how that would infringe on just about every gun owner in America.
Well, it means you could not give a gun to your son or daughter. That would be a crime. You couldn't loan a gun to your neighbor to go duck hunting for the weekend. That would be a crime. And then when your neighbor gave it back to you, that'd be a separate crime. We'd be looking at felonies both ways. It means it would be the end of private sales of guns, which has been legal since this country was founded. And people say, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is you would have to go to a firearms store, a dealer, and go through the background process literally to loan your gun to your neighbor for the weekend. Or if a friend of yours, a woman, is being beaten by her husband, has escaped, she's run away, and she needs protection right now, you couldn't give her that gun and say, look, you take care of yourself. Oh, no, that would be a crime. No, we don't care about her. All we care about is making sure that we, the government, have our thumb on you, and we're going to control who gets a gun. And, oh, yeah, once they say, here's the deal, once they say all sales, all transfers have to go through gun stores, then you see what we have seen now, where you can slow down the process. Oh, yeah, well, it's going to take another day before we can do the background check. It's going to take another day. Part of Biden's plan is right now, if a background check is not done in 3 days, then the store can go ahead and sell the gun to you. They want to eliminate that so they can just say, we can have an indefinite delay. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be forever. We can never get back to you, and the store wouldn't be able to sell the gun. That's part of Biden's platform.
You made an interesting point a second ago, and I want to go back to that, needing protection right now. And the Democrat platform, the Biden platform of what they call gun safety, which literally would require that every gun owner in America keep their weapon, their handgun in most cases, locked up within their own homes all the time.
Isn't it the weirdest thing where you have the same group who's saying we're going to defund the police, so when you call 911, nobody's going to come. But we also don't want you to be able to protect yourself. But, oh, yeah, by the way, we have armed guards with us all the time. If you're Pelosi or Schumer or Biden, you know, you've got armed guards with you all the time. You're protected by guns. It's just that we are the little people, and they don't want us to be able to protect ourselves. They truly do not value our lives.
Tom, a direct quote from Biden, and help me with this because I'm struggling. It's a question from CNN. A Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns. Biden answers, bingo, you're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period. Look, the Second Amendment doesn't say you can't restrict the kinds of weapons people can own. If you make assault weapons illegal, all of them, who will have them?
Well, two things. One is, of course, when you outlaw something, only the outlaws have them. Oh, yeah, and the government, which means, well, it's the weirdest thing. These are people who say that only the government should have the monopoly on force. But let's spin back to the idea of what's an assault weapon. There is no definition for assault weapon. It's a political term, and it is expandable infinitely. And I have actually seen pistols and revolvers included in some definitions of assault weapon, which means if there's no real definition, they can include everything with it. Oh, yeah, and for those who are still confused, there are no machine guns in the definition of assault weapon. Those are already highly regulated and almost never, ever used in crime in the U.S. So what we're really talking about is semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and pistols, and they want to ban them all. And Joe Biden says, bingo, there's no right to have one of those. Well, I'm sorry, sir. The Constitution says we can. The Bill of Rights says we can, and you don't have the ability to do that.
This election in November, this is going to be a real key issue. Do you see them having, I see them having momentum in that direction. Do you see that too, Tom?
It's interesting. You can easily be dissuaded or fooled into thinking there's a momentum for something because the mainstream media talks about something all the time. In point of fact, I think, we have 2 million new gun owners over the last 2 or 3 months. 2 million people who bought their first gun. None of them is going to want to ban the guns that they just bought. And when and if we're able to explain to them, oh, yeah, that semi-automatic pistol you bought, that's what Joe Biden wants to ban. That pistol you bought that holds 15 or 17 rounds, he's going to make it a felony for you to have the magazine, the full capacity, standard capacity magazine that you have for your pistol. I think, and I will tell you, I think the polls are all wrong. I call this a Trump landslide. And I think there are a bunch of us out here who have looked at the riots and looked at the defund the police nonsense, and we are going to register to vote, and we're going to show up and vote. We've got a gunvote.org thing going where we're registering thousands of people every day. You got to tune out some of the noise you get from the mainstream media, Aaron.
Mr. Tom, Sunday, 1 till 4, Gun Talk. What's coming up this weekend?
Holy cow. Well, we're going to talk about this lawsuit that the New York Attorney General just filed yesterday to dissolve, that is to destroy, to do away with, to evaporate the National Rifle Association. And on the same day, the Washington, D.C. Attorney General does the same thing. This is not coincidence that it's happening 90 days before the election. The NRA was very involved in the election in 2016. They want to make sure that they cannot be a factor in trying to get Trump reelected. This is all part of an overall plan.